Baik, sudah bisa kita mulai ya semuanya. Halo sahabat Live and Well Shinon, apa kabar? Semoga dalam keadaan sehat selalu ya. Terima kasih kepada Tuhan Yang Maha Esa karena atas berkatnya kita dapat mengikuti webinar Health Talk ini. Terima kasih kepada para peserta yang sudah registrasi dan bergabung bersama kami. Terima kasih kepada Live and Well Shinon, Miss Merlin dan Mr. Tarun selaku penyelenggara webinar ini. Dan juga terima kasih kepada narasumber kita hari ini, yaitu Dr. Jelim. Beliau merupakan salah satu dokter terbaik, ahli urologi, endurologi, bedah robotik, dan laparoskopi dari Depan Asia Surgery Group Singapura. Saya, Resya Roito, sebagai moderator webinar kali ini yang akan memandu jalannya webinar hingga 1 jam ke depan dengan topik kanker prostat. Kanker prostat bisa terjadi kepada siapa saja, sehingga kita perlu mengetahui penyebab dan resikonya, khususnya menjaga kesehatan pria bersatu melawan kanker prostat. Sebelum kita mulai, saya ingatkan kepada seluruh peserta agar menonaktifkan mikrofon selama webinar berlangsung, dan apabila ada pertanyaan mengenai topik ini, dapat menggunakan chat box dengan format nama, usia, kota, kemudian akan dijawab pada sesi tanya jawab nanti. Before we begin, I would like to inform you to mute your microphone during the webinar. And if you have any questions about this topic, you can use the chat box and we will answer them in the Q&A section later. Sebagai pembuka, saya akan memperkenalkan kepada Anda, mungkin yang masih belum mengenal Live and Well Shinon, saya akan membagikan profil Live and Well Shinon pada layar Anda. Okay. Baik. Live and Well Shinon adalah perusahaan yang bergerak di bidang jasa wisata medis yang berdiri sejak tahun 2014 di bawah naungan PT Live and Well Care Sehat Cantika Abadi. Live and Well Shinon merupakan pramu-tamu medis yang memfasilitasi pasien untuk mendapatkan perawatan dokter di rumah sakit sesuai dengan kebutuhan pasien. Mengapa kita memilih Live and Well Shinon? Karena Live and Well Shinon telah bermitra di lebih dari 50 rumah sakit dan telah bekerja sama dengan lebih dari 2.500 ahli bedah serta spesialis yang profesional yang siap melayani setiap kebutuhan pasien, karena moto Live and Well Shinon adalah Living for a Healthier Tomorrow, yang artinya hidup untuk hari esok yang lebih sehat. Berikut visi dan misi Live and Well Shinon. Visi Live and Well Shinon yakni one-stop solution dalam memberikan informasi, pengetahuan tentang penyakit, referensi pengobatan yang tepat, dan memudahkan perjalanan pasien dalam proses pengobatannya. Misi Live and Well Shinon sendiri adalah mempermudah akses perawatan medis kapanpun Anda butuhkan, sehingga Anda bisa mendapatkan perawatan terbaik dan Anda hanya perlu fokus pada pemulihan penyakit Anda. Layanan yang diberikan Live and Well Shinon yaitu penjemputan bandara, visa dan paspor, administrasi, evakuasi medis, dan juga konsultasi. Apa aja nih yang disediakan Live and Well Shinon? Live and Well Shinon menyediakan teknologi pengobatan yang maju, pengobatan yang efektif dan efisien, nyaman, dan berorientasi pada pelayanan pasien. Negara-negara tujuan pengobatan Live and Well Shinon ada di Malaysia, India, Turki, Korea Selatan, Singapura, Iran, Dubai, dan Thailand. Untuk jenis pengobatannya sendiri yakni ada transplantasi organ, hematologi, dan transplantasi sumsum tulang, onkologi, ilmu jantung dewasa dan anak, bedah saraf, bedah ortopedi, bedah tulang belakang, implan THT, kardiologi, IVF atau in vitro fertilization, oftalmologi, urologi, diabetologi dan endokrinologi, implan dan bedah gigi, bedah robotik, bedah gastrointestinal, ayurveda, dan perawatan kesehatan bedah bariatrik, dan berbagai jenis pengobatan lainnya. Untuk informasi lebih lanjut, silakan Anda dapat menghubungi Live and Well Shinon melalui mail di info@livingwell-care.com atau juga bisa melalui sosial media Facebook dan Instagram di Livingwell Care Shinon. Dan juga bisa melalui WhatsApp di livingwell-care.com atau juga untuk fast respon bisa melalui WhatsApp di 0817-289-9911. Jadi buat Anda yang membutuhkan layanan pengobatan ke luar negeri, langsung segera hubungi Livingwell Shinon. Oke? Sesuai dengan topik pembahasan kita kali ini, yaitu mengenai kanker prostat, Livingwell Shinon telah bekerja sama dengan Pan Asia Surgery Group, sekelompok ahli bedah khusus yang menyediakan layanan komprehensif dalam merawat kondisi kolorektal dan ambien, urologis, vaskular, usus, hati, dan payudara. Dengan pengalaman gabungan selama lebih dari 50 tahun di seluruh institusi medis terkemuka di dunia. Pan Asia Surgery Group berkomitmen untuk memberikan perawatan ahli bedah dengan memperhatikan pasien dan komunitas Pan Asia sendiri. Pan Asia Surgery Group berlokasi strategis di Mount Elizabeth Medical Center dan Parkway East Medical Center. Keduanya bersebelahan dengan Rumah Sakit Umum Perawatan Akut Utama di Parkway Health, grup perawatan kesehatan swasta terkemuka di Singapura. Sebagai narasumber kita hari ini, beliau adalah Dr. Zai Lim Keng It. Minat khusus beliau adalah endurologi dan bedah robotik dan juga laparoskopi. Dr. Lim adalah ahli bedah urologi di Surgery 10 Specialist. Beliau berspesialisasi dalam kondisi ginjal, termasuk kolik ginjal akut, ginjal tapal kuda, ginjal tunggal, dan yang berhubungan dengan kehamilan dan batu. Beliau juga terlatih dalam pendekatan spektrum penuh untuk mengatasi batu ginjal besar dan kecil, termasuk teknik perkutan terlentang berbasis endoskopi, laparoskopi, dan USG batu untuk batu besar. Ya. Beliau adalah konsultan ahli endurologi di Singapore General Hospital dan direktur pendaftaran kanker urologi. Dr. Lim memperoleh gelar Bachelor of Computing dari National University of Singapore atau NUS dan menyelesaikan gelar sarjana kedokteran di Beliau menyelesaikan pelatihan bedah urologi dan tertarik pada penelitian, pencegahan, dan pembedahan terkait batu. Beliau menjalani pelatihan fellowship di Rumah Sakit Universitas Macquarie, Australia dalam bedah robotik. Jadi jika Anda ingin berkonsultasi lebih lanjut dengan Dr. Zai Lim, dapat menghubungi Livingwell Shinon melalui WhatsApp di 0817-2899911. Untuk itu, saya akan mengundang langsung Dr. Zai Lim. I'm going to invite Dr. Zai Lim. Are you with us?
Yes, I am. Thank you very much. Hello.
Hello, doctor. How are you today?
I am very good. I hope everything's good in Jakarta as well. It's bright and sunny at 1 p.m. here in Singapore currently.
Okay, thank you for being here. As we know, for this time, we talk about on prostate cancer, guarding men's wellness, uniting against prostate cancer, and you have prepared the presentation.
I have, actually. Thank you very much. And if I could just share screen.
Okay, for information, our audiences are using Bahasa, so I will translate it to Bahasa.
That's not a problem. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
You can see my screen? Yep, very good. Okay, thank you very much once again to Livingwell Shinon for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here to talk to you guys about prostate cancer. For all the men out there, it can happen to you. So we are here to find out about your own risk, what are the signs and symptoms, and how it can affect you. Riza, please.
Oke, jadi hari ini kita akan membahas tentang kanker prostat dan kanker ini bisa terjadi kepada siapapun sehingga Anda harus mengetahui gejala dan resikonya. Please, Dr. Lim.
Okay. So let's go ahead and get the show started. Okay, so some of the things that I will be talking about first and foremost is to introduce to you where is the prostate. Every man has a prostate, and as we go bigger, they get more and more problematic. And one of the problems that it can occur is having prostate cancer. Then I will move on to basically how we diagnose and look out for prostate cancer. One of the most common ways that we do that is this PSA. So PSA stands for prostate specific antigen. You will hear me talking about this many times throughout the presentation, so we will come back to it. Riza, please.
Oke, jadi pembahasan kita hari ini yaitu mengenai kanker prostat. Ya, semakin kita menua, maka semakin banyak komplikasi yang muncul dalam prostat kita. Khususnya ini adalah untuk pria ya. Jadi kita akan lebih banyak membahas tentang kanker prostat, dan salah satu yang akan kita jelaskan yaitu PSA yang memiliki kepanjangan prostate specific antigen, yang akan dibahas dokter lebih dalam pada topik kita kali ini. Please, Dr. Lim.
So if you have a high PSA, what do you do? And when you come to see me, we will then talk about the various investigation that I will go through with you when you see me for your PSA issues. And then we cannot ignore about prostate biopsy when we talk about prostate cancer. So I will introduce to you what is prostate biopsy. How does it play a role in figuring out whether you have prostate cancer or not? And then we will finally cover the presentation with complications and treatment of prostate treatment and surgery itself. Riza, please.
Jadi ketika PSA Anda tinggi, Anda akan berkonsultasi ke dokter Lim atau ke dokter ahli urologi. Kemudian kita akan membahas apa saja prosedur-prosedur yang akan kita lakukan untuk menangani kanker prostat, mulai dari biopsi prostat, dan kemudian nanti di akhir akan kita bahas mengenai komplikasi yang terjadi setelah kita melakukan prosedur tersebut. Please, Dr. Lim.
Okay, so let's start off very, very simple. Where is the prostate? Now, we'll start off by telling you only male or gentlemen have the prostate, and it sits right here below the bladder, as you can see in this a red color square that I have. It is only in male, so ladies don't have prostate, so that's the reason you do not have prostate cancer. Don't worry. And it is used mainly as a reproductive organ. When we were younger, it is necessary for making babies, and that's why we need them. It's a very, very crucial organ for us. Riza, please.
Jadi di mana prostat ini? Prostat ini berada di organ lelaki. Jadi wanita tidak memiliki prostat ya. Jadi tidak perlu khawatir untuk perempuan mengalami kanker prostat. Jadi prostat ini terdapat pada organ tubuh pria, di mana terdapat pada organ reproduksi pria, sehingga kita perlu membahas lebih detail mengenai ini karena berhubungan dengan sistem reproduksi pria. Please, Dr. Lee.
Okay, so the problem with the prostate is that after we use it when we have children, unfortunately, as we grow bigger, as we go older, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then they start causing a lot of problems, especially for the older men above the age of 50, 60, 70, 80, and it gets worse and worse, and it can cause a lot of urine problems. Riza, please.
Jadi semakin kita menua, prostat kita juga akan mengalami pembesaran ya, sehingga akan mengakibatkan komplikasi, umumnya pada pria berusia 50 sampai 60 tahun. Please, Dr. Lim.
Okay, so what is the prostate cancer and how does it manifest? So as I said just now, as we go older, it gets bigger and bigger, and some of the things that it can cause with the prostate itself includes you are unable to pass urine, you cannot pass urine very easily, you got to wake up many times at night to pass urine, and you see blood in your urine. Riza, please.
Oke, jadi kanker prostat itu apa saja gejala kanker prostat? Anda tidak dapat atau sulit melakukan buang air kecil. Anda terkadang harus bangun di tengah malam untuk melakukan buang air kecil, dan mungkin Anda akan merasa sulit ya, atau merasa sakit pada saat buang air kecil. Please, Dr. Lim.
So some of the symptoms that prostate cancer can also occur at the late stage includes older men suddenly having very, very, very bad bone pains in the shoulders, in the arms, in the legs, or you might actually find that you have blood in your semen as well. So these are some of the subtle signs of prostate cancer. Riza, please.
Jadi pada saat Anda mengalami kanker prostat, Anda akan mengalami nyeri tulang ya. Nyeri tulang itu biasanya pada tahap akhir kanker prostat ini. Kemudian selain pendarahan pada saat buang air kecil, bisa juga terjadi adanya bercak darah pada sperma Anda. Please, Dr. Lee.
Unfortunately, all these signs and symptoms can occur very commonly. So if you have some of the listeners here who have this kind of problems, you might want to take note and maybe go and see your doctor should you start to have all these symptoms. Riza, please.
Jadi ketika Anda mengalami hal-hal yang sudah kita sebutkan pada gambar ini seperti tidak bisa buang air kecil, adanya darah pada urin, sakit tulang ya atau sakit badan, dan ada juga bercak darah pada sperma, Anda harus mencatat gejala-gejala ini, kemudian Anda harus mulai berkonsultasi dengan dokter, atau Anda juga bisa langsung berkonsultasi dengan Dr. Lim. Please, Dr. Lim.
So, how common is it then when we talk about prostate cancer? And so I basically have some data here from Global Scan 2020, which is about 3 years old, that talks specifically about prostate issues in Indonesia. And you can see from the diagram over here that actually amongst men, prostate cancer is the 5th most common cancers in male after lung, colorectal, liver, and nasopharyngeal cancer in Indonesia. Around 7% of all cancers in Indonesia are due to the prostate. Rizia.
Baik, sesuai dengan sumber Globocon tahun 2020, 3 tahun yang lalu, kita dapat melihat pada diagram, kanker prostat adalah penyakit kanker paling umum nomor 5 terhadap pria. Anda dapat melihat sekitar 7,4% ya pada diagram kasus baru ya pada tahun 2020 untuk pria di segala usia. Please, Dr.
So, in terms of it causing death, so how many whether there's a lot of old men that die from the cancer is actually the 13th highest cause of death in Indonesian men. So there is a difference between the amount of times that is discovered, which is the 5th most common cancer, but is only the 13th most highest cause of death in men in Indonesia.
Baik, jadi untuk kasus penyebab kematian tertinggi, kanker prostat berada di urutan ke-13. Jadi untuk kanker paling umum, kanker prostat berada di urutan nomor 5, namun untuk penyebab kematian, kanker prostat berada di urutan ke-13 di Indonesia. Please, Dr. Lim.
So, for those who are very sharp, you would have realized, hey, there's only the 5th most, it's very common, it's the 5th most common, but actually only 13 most common cause of death. And the reason is for that is because prostate cancer is actually a very slow growing cancer. And most importantly, if you were to discover it early, it actually can be treated. And in many times, it does not cause any death at all. Rizia.
Jadi dengan begitu, kanker prostat ini merupakan kanker yang pertumbuhannya sangat lamban, dan apabila kita ketahui lebih cepat, maka penanggulangannya akan semakin mudah dan tidak berbahaya. Please, Dr. Lim.
Okay, so in terms of prostate cancer, it is very important to find out which one are the very aggressive cancer. Well, there are a lot of them. They are actually slow growing, and you just want to make sure that you catch only those that needs to be looked at. For example, this picture down there is what we always call, you've got to find the very dangerous animal in a sea of white, as you can see. Rizia, please.
Oke, jadi kita pada saat ingin mengetahui kanker prostat tersebut, kita harus bisa membedakan mana kanker yang sangat agresif, seperti pada gambar kita bisa melihat gambar atau hewan yang paling berbahaya di antara hewan lainnya yang ada pada gambar. Jadi kita harus lebih mengetahui dengan cepat supaya penanganan kanker prostat tersebut lebih dapat ditangani. Please, Dr. Lee.
So the best way to go about checking your prostate health, unfortunately, is to have regular checkup if you are above the age of 50 and you do it annually for the rest once you hit the age of 50. That is the best way to ensure that your prostate is in good health.
Jadi untuk Anda yang sudah berusia 50 tahun ke atas, cara terbaik untuk mengetahui adanya kanker prostat pada Anda adalah dengan melakukan pengecekan secara rutin, kalau bisa itu setiap tahun, supaya kita dapat menanggulangi atau dapat menyembuhkan apabila kita menemukan adanya kanker prostat mulai dari dini. Please, Dr. Lee.
Thank you. So, and if you look at the latest international guidelines when it comes to preventing prostate cancer, there are some recommendations out there, but there is very, very little in terms of clear evidence as to things that you can do to prevent prostate cancer is actually not very, very clear out there.
Jadi ada penyebab dan pencegahan untuk kanker prostat sendiri, tetapi kita tidak dapat terlalu menyimpulkan apa saja penyebab dan pencegahan kanker prostat tersebut, sehingga kita perlu membahas lebih detail mengenai kanker prostat. Please, Dr. Lin.
Okay, so the only way to make sure that you don't have prostate cancer would be to do a regular checkup, to do a yearly prostate-specific antigen or PSA blood testing, and if you are concerned, you should go and see a urologist annually to just make sure everything is in order.
Jadi untuk Anda yang ingin mengetahui apakah Anda mengalami kanker prostat atau apakah prostat Anda sehat, Anda perlu melakukan cek kesehatan secara rutin. Kemudian kalau bisa melakukan tes PSA atau prostate specific antigen biasanya setiap tahun ya kalau bisa, atau juga Anda melakukan kunjungan urologi setiap tahun juga. Kurang lebih seperti itu. Please, Dr. Lee.
So I've said so much about prostate-specific antigen. So it's time to understand what exactly it is. First of all, it is actually a blood test that you all need to do. So we take blood from your body and then we test it for prostate-specific antigen. It is found in both normal and cancerous prostate tissue. Ria, please.
Jadi ketika Anda melakukan prostate specific antigen atau tes PSA, itu akan dilakukan pada pengecekan darah Anda, dan kita dapat melihat baik dari jaringan prostat yang normal maupun yang abnormal. Please, Dr. Lee.
So for do this test, it's actually very simple. You don't need to fast. You can take all the medications that you regularly take, and it takes around 2 to 3 days for the results to come back, and it usually come back as a number that is usually defined in nanogram per deciliter, as you can see here.
Jadi tes tersebut sangat simpel dan tidak perlu buru-buru dan juga cepat ya tesnya. Jadi Anda dapat kembali sekitar 2-3 hari untuk mengetahui hasil dari kadar PSA Anda dalam nanogram per desiliter. Please, Dr. Lee.
And also, prostate-specific antigen, when it comes back as a number, your doctor should be able to read what is the PSA. There is no international consensus as to a level that safely tell you whether you have or you don't have prostate cancer, but internationally, it is commonly used as 4.0 as the line between a normal versus an abnormal PSA test. Bisa.
Jadi ya tidak ada nilai normal ya atau nilai PSA yang dapat diterima baik dari komunitas internasional, tetapi 4 nanogram per desiliter adalah yang paling umum ya, yang selalu diterima pada saat mengukur suatu kadar PSA dalam prostat Anda. Please, Dr.
Okay, so as I mentioned just now, I'm sure some of you listening right now would have done PSA tests already and you know what's your PSA result. 4 is only a reference value. It does not mean that if you have above 4, like 5 or 6, you definitely have prostate cancer. Nor does it mean that you have 2 or 3 PSA. It means you are definitely safe from prostate cancer. So do not be alarmed here if you have done a PSA previously and it shows a value of more than 4.0.
Jadi ketika Anda mendapatkan hasil kadar PSA Anda di bawah 4 nanogram per desiliter ataupun di atas 4 nanogram per desiliter, itu tidak berarti bahwa Anda menderita kanker prostat ya, sehingga Anda perlu duduk berdiskusi lebih lanjut lagi dengan dokter urologi Anda. Please, Dr. Lee.
Okay, so unlike other cancers like breast cancer for ladies and colorectal cancers, there is no agreed screening programs for prostate cancer internationally. In America, screening program is not well established. In fact, they advise against it. But in Europe and in Southeast Asia, we do actually encourage regular testing of the PSA at least once a year above the age of 50.
Oke, jadi untuk screening atau tes PSA tidak terlalu direkomendasi, sangat kontroversial ya, atau tidak terlalu direkomendasikan di Amerika Serikat. Namun untuk di Eropa direkomendasikan ya untuk screening melalui PSA. Please, Dr. Lee.
So after you done a PSA, if it comes back high, not everything is bad. There are some very common reasons as to why the PSA can be high or elevated, and we can go through some of the prostate problems here. For example, as you age, as I said already, the prostate gets bigger. PSA will slowly rise. So if you have a higher PSA than normal, it may not be anything at all.
Jadi ada banyak ya penyebab kanker prostat tersebut. Jadi semakin Anda menua, maka prostat juga semakin besar dan kadar PSA Anda juga kemungkinan akan tinggi, sehingga Anda perlu berkonsultasi kepada dokter Anda. Please, Dr. Lee.
Okay, another reason as to why PSA could be high is because you have an infection of the prostate, what we call prostate infection. So this is a situation whereby the prostate here is inflamed from infection. Therefore, it can cause a very, very high rise in PSA from up to 90 to hundreds. We commonly see it during in a person who has a prostate infection.
Jadi salah satu masalah yang terjadi yang menyebabkan kanker prostat yaitu adanya radang prostat ya, sehingga menyebabkan kadar PSA Anda tinggi bisa mencapai 90 atau 100 untuk kadar PSA tersebut. Please, Dokter.
So as I say, PSA is also found in normal tissue. As we age, our prostate gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and as you can see, this is a very big prostate, and therefore PSA in these cases would also rise, and we commonly see values of 20s and even 30s in someone who have a big benign prostatic hyperplasia or big prostate as we call it.
Jadi bisa Anda lihat pada gambar berikut ya, semakin besar prostatnya, maka jaringan PSA juga akan semakin meningkat, sehingga akan menimbulkan kelenjar prostat membesar ya. Jadi kelenjar prostat Anda semakin membesar dan dapat mengganggu prostat Anda sendiri. Please, Dr. Lee.
Yes, then of course the cancer itself, let's say if it starts growing in the normal prostate, it gets bigger and gets more and more places and it spread, then naturally cancer can cause your PSA to go higher than usual as well.
Jadi untuk kankernya sendiri, jadi semakin besar kelenjar prostat Anda, jaringan prostat Anda, maka juga akan mengakibatkan kadar PSA Anda semakin tinggi. Itulah yang menyebabkan adanya kanker prostat pada kelenjar prostat Anda. Please, Dr. Lee.
That's why it's very important to get your PSA checked on a regular basis. Okay, so when you come and see me and you have a high PSA, what do I do? And now we'll go through some of the things that the urologist will do for you. The first thing that we do is always to repeat another PSA, because sometimes infection can have a high PSA, but after the infection is well treated, your PSA comes back down to normal. This is one of the first steps that we always do. Riza.
Jadi apa yang dilakukan oleh dokter untuk menangani masalah dalam keluhan prostat Anda? Dokter akan melakukan tes PSA secara berulang karena kadang setelah melakukan tes PSA kadar PSA Anda bisa naik atau juga bahkan menurun pada saat melakukan tes PSA pada prostat Anda, sehingga kita perlu melakukan pengecekan ulang atau tes PSA secara berulang seperti itu. Please, Dr. Lim.
So and we also do a urine test to also make sure you don't have an ongoing infection that can also cause the PSA to be temporarily higher than usual. If everything you come back the second time, the PSA still remains elevated, then I will proceed to do a physical examination whereby I put a finger into the back passage or the rectum to have a good feel of your prostate to check whether it is smooth or it is not, it is abnormal feeling.
Oke. Jadi selain melakukan tes, dokter juga perlu melakukan tes urin ya, sehingga setelah mengetahui kadar PSA Anda benar-benar naik, maka kita akan berlanjut pada proses physical exam abnormal, bisa disebut dalam bahasa Indonesia itu colok dubur, sehingga dokter akan memasukkan jari dokter ke dalam melalui dubur Anda dan melihat pada saat disentuh apakah ada bagian yang berbeda dari biasanya. Please, Dr. Lee.
Okay. And if the examination is abnormal or the PSA remains high, then we move on to the next stage, which is the MRI prostate scan. The MRI prostate scan is a new scan that has been very popular over the last 5 years, that it takes a very nice black and white picture of the prostate and tells me whether there's any problems in terms of prostate cancer growth when you finish doing the scan.
Jadi setelah melakukan physical exam abnormal atau memasukkan jari ke dalam dubur penderita, maka kita akan melakukan MRI prostat atau scan prostat, sehingga dokter dapat melihat apakah ada masalah pada prostat Anda, dan kemudian kita tanggulangi dengan prosedur selanjutnya. Please, Dr. Lee.
And once the scan is done and it shows something abnormal, we will then follow by doing a prostate biopsy. Because prostate cancer is a serious diagnosis, we definitely want to be able to take some samples from the prostate, and we make use of the scans that we have to get a very accurate picture of your prostate, find out where the problem is, and we take biopsies from there, which I will show in the next slide.
Jadi setelah melakukan MRI scan, jadi apabila prostat Anda mengalami abnormal, kita dapat berlanjut pada prosedur biopsi prostat dan akan memberikan hasil gambar yang dapat memudahkan dokter untuk melihat apakah ada masalah pada prostat Anda. Please, Dr. Lim.
Okay. All right. So this is a sample of how it's going to be performed, how a prostate biopsy is performed. As you can see, basically, when we do this procedure, number one, most important thing, you will be put to sleep, so you will not be awake. In terms of the pain-wise, it will be absolutely pain-free or have only slight amount of pain for you should you require a prostate biopsy. So rest assured that.
Jadi ketika Anda melakukan biopsi prostat, berikut adalah gambaran ya yang akan dilakukan, prosedur yang akan dilakukan oleh dokter, sehingga pada saat melakukan prosedur tersebut Anda akan tidur sehingga tidak akan merasakan rasa sakit atau tidak nyaman pada saat melakukan prosedur tersebut. Please, Dr. Lim.
Okay, so as you can see, this is the red color prostate over here, and we use a guide to basically go through the skin. So the needle goes through the skin and takes a lot of samples from the skin. At the same time, we use an ultrasound probe, which is put into the rectum to tell me where the lesions are.
Jadi dari gambar ini, yang gambar merah ini adalah merupakan bagian prostat Anda, sehingga kita akan memakaikan alat biopsi untuk mendeteksi apakah prostat Anda mengalami gangguan, dengan juga menggunakan sonde ya, sonde ultrasound, sehingga bisa membantu dokter untuk melihat apakah prostat Anda mengalami kanker atau tidak dengan mengambil sampel ya pada prostat Anda. Please, Dr. Lim.
Okay, so remember that we took the scan, which is the MRI prostate. Now it comes in very handy. If you look at the picture on your right-hand side, the MRI scan tells me where the problem is in green color.
Jadi ketika Anda melakukan scan MRI, Anda dapat melihat pada gambar sebelah kanan, sehingga scan tersebut dapat menginformasikan letak di mana sel kanker tersebut berada. Please, Dr. Lim.
Okay, so with the image that we have, we know that the green color areas, assuming that they're abnormal, I will use a special biopsy robot, to then do a lot of biopsy in the region that is suspicious for cancer.
Jadi Anda bisa melihat pada warna hijau, dokter akan menggunakan biopsi menggunakan robot sehingga dapat melihat dan menemukan sampel yang terdapat pada prostat Anda. Please, Dr. Lim.
Following that, because you are asleep, so you are comfortable, I will also do a lot of biopsy all over the prostate as well, so that nothing is missed in some other areas, to ensure that everywhere is well sampled.
Jadi pada saat Anda tidur dan merasa nyaman, dokter akan sekalian mengambil sampel dari seluruh area, sehingga dapat memastikan bahwa prosedur biopsi tersebut mengambil sampel yang benar. Seperti itu. Please, Dr. Lim.
So compared to the traditional method whereby it was done previously, we only take 12 cores. With this method on top, I can take up to 30 to 40 cores, which basically means that your prostate is really, really well checked.
Jadi pada cara yang dulu, cara yang lama biasanya melakukan 12 kali, sementara untuk cara yang terbaru ini dapat mengambil sampel 30 sampai 40 kali, seperti itu. Please, Dr. Lim.
This procedure, most importantly, is done as a day surgery. So you do not need to stay in hospital overnight. Usually, we just need to monitor you for 3 to 4 hours. And after that, you can go back home or go back to the hotel, which is a very convenient day procedure.
Jadi prosedur ini hanya berjalan dalam 1 hari dan dapat dilihat selama 3-4 jam, sehingga tidak perlu menginap di rumah sakit. Anda dapat kembali pulang ke hotel ataupun ke rumah Anda, seperti itu, setelah melakukan prosedur ini. Please, Dr. Lim.
Okay, and as usual, as with all procedures, there will be some complications like bleeding and infection can occur, but these are very rare and we can treat them either with medication or just observation.
Jadi setelah melakukan prosedur-prosedur yang sudah kita bahas tadi, akan ada beberapa komplikasi seperti pendarahan, infeksi, dan ada gangguan pada urin, dan juga ada darah ya pada sperma Anda yang akan dijelaskan oleh dokter sebagai berikut. Please, Dr. Lim.
And then the more serious complication that can occur is sometimes you might have clots inside the bladder. Then you can go into urinary retention, and that is why we will ensure we monitor you truly well around 3 to 4 hours. We make sure that you don't have urine retention before we let you go home.
Jadi pada saat setelah melakukan prosedur yang sudah kita bahas tadi, akan ada timbul komplikasi seperti buang air kecil yang memiliki darah, sehingga Anda perlu menggunakan urin retensi ya, sehingga kita dapat melakukan dalam 2 sampai 3 jam baru Anda diperbolehkan pulang sampai dengan urin Anda tidak memiliki darah lagi seperti itu. Please, Dr. Lim.
Okay, sometimes after biopsy, you might also find that you have blood in your sperm. That is normal. It usually goes away to 3 to 4 weeks later, and it will not cause any pain for you during sexual intercourse.
Jadi kadang-kadang juga setelah melakukan prosedur-prosedur tadi, kita akan menemukan darah pada sperma, sehingga mungkin akan terjadi dalam waktu 3-4 hari, dan ini adalah normal, jadi tidak perlu khawatir ya. Jadi setelah 3-4 hari, biasanya darah tersebut tidak ada atau hilang atau berkurang, seperti itu. Please, Dr. Lee.
Okay, so about 1 week later, you come back and see me, and then I will be able to see the prostate biopsy results that will tell me whether you have cancer or don't have any cancer in your prostate.
Jadi setelah 1 minggu setelah prosedur tadi, Anda akan kembali bertemu dengan dokter dan akan membahas dan mengetahui apakah Anda memiliki kanker prostat ataupun tidak. Please, Dr. Lee.
Okay, and if you don't have prostate, if you have no problems with your prostate and no prostate cancer, I will shake your hand and ask you to come back next year for a PSA test, and you can go on your way. Not a problem at all.
Oke, jadi apabila Anda tidak memiliki kanker prostat, dokter hanya perlu ya mengucapkan selamat ya tentunya kepada Anda, menyalam Anda, dan Anda bisa pulang, dan Anda diwajibkan atau diharuskan untuk melakukan pengecekan prostat setiap tahunnya. Please, Dr. Lee.
Okay, and if unfortunately if you have prostate cancer, then we will need to do further tests. The first test we will do is to find out whether the cancer is still within the prostate or it has jumped out of the prostate, and we do that with a combination of various staging scan and scan the bones.
Jadi apabila Anda mengalami kanker prostat dan kanker prostat tersebut apakah ada di dalam prostat atau di luar prostat itu sendiri, maka kita akan melakukan scan stadium ya, scan stadium kanker prostat Anda dan juga melakukan scan tulang. Please, Dr. Lee.
Okay, and depending on whether your cancer is still in one place or is spread out, then treatment will be different. So for example, if you have localized prostate cancer, which is what we talk about early detection, then there are very many ways that we can treat this cancer. Some of the methods includes WW or watchful waiting or active surveillance. That essentially means we don't do.
Oke, jadi apabila Anda mendapati atau Anda mengalami kanker prostat di satu tempat ya, Anda hanya perlu melakukan beberapa prosedur seperti watching full waiting atau active surveillance, artinya penantian waspada atau pengawasan aktif ya pada saat Anda melakukan operasi kanker prostat. Please, Dr. Lim.
Now, if you need surgery, then there are many ways that we can do surgery, but most popular way is using robot. It's called the RALP, which stands for robotic assisted laparoscopic prostate surgery. So this is using the big robot here that you can see. This is the most popular way of doing surgery for prostate cancer right now.
Oke. Jadi apabila Anda diperlukan untuk melakukan operasi bedah, Anda perlu melakukan RALP, yaitu operasi kelenjar prostat dengan robot ya. Anda dapat melihat gambar di sebelah kiri, ini merupakan alat robot yang dapat melakukan operasi kanker prostat pada satu lokasi, di mana kanker prostat tersebut terjadi pada satu lokasi, tidak menyebar kemana-mana. Please, Dr. Lim.
And then other treatment methods including focal therapy, radiotherapy, or even hormonal therapy. But there are many ways that we can treat as long as your prostate cancer is discovered early.
Oke, jadi selama Anda dapat mengetahui dengan cepat apakah Anda mengalami kanker prostat, ada banyak cara untuk pengobatannya seperti radioterapi atau juga hormon terapi seperti itu. Please, Dr. Lim.
And in the unfortunate situation that we find that your prostate has actually come out of the prostate, there are also many ways that we can treat it using hormone therapy or even radiation therapy. These are some of the methods that are available in current modern urology practice that is available to control the prostate cancer.
Jadi apabila kanker tersebut menyebar di luar daripada prostat, seperti tadi apabila dia di dalam terjadi pada satu posisi di prostat Anda hanya dapat melakukan operasi seperti RELP, vokal terapi, radioterapi, ataupun hormon terapi. Tapi apabila kanker prostat tersebut menyebar, Anda melakukan hormon treatment dan juga radioterapi. Please, Dr. Lee.
Okay. So we pretty much come to a summary of what has been gone through so fast, and I'd like to reiterate a few points. Number one being prostate cancer is a very slow growing cancer. Therefore, early detection is very, very important. Riza.
Jadi setelah kita melakukan pembahasan singkat tadi, kita dapat mengambil kesimpulan bahwa kanker prostat adalah kanker yang tumbuh dengan lambat. Jadi perlu mengetahui lebih cepat apakah kita mengalami kanker prostat atau tidak.
Yeah, and there are many symptoms like cannot pass urine very slow, got blood in your urine, or if you're leaking urine. These are very, very common symptoms that people may misunderstand them for prostate issue, but actually they can be due to prostate cancer as well. So it's important to get it checked out properly.
Jadi ada banyak ya gejala yang ditimbulkan oleh gangguan prostat ini seperti susah buang air kecil atau juga kencing berdarah gitu. Jadi kita harus lebih baik segera mengetahui apakah dengan gejala tersebut Anda mengalami kanker prostat atau tidak. Please, Dr. Lee.
So unfortunately, all men are at a risk of prostate cancer. The older you are, the more risky you are, and there's no good way to prevent the issue from occurring.
Jadi kanker prostat terjadi pada pria. Jadi semakin Anda tua, maka semakin kemungkinan akan memiliki atau mengalami gangguan prostat atau juga kanker prostat tersebut. Please, Dr. Lee.
If you are experiencing some of the symptoms, or your relatives are experiencing some of your symptoms that we mentioned in today's talk, then it's important to get a checkup with your urologist and do a yearly PSA blood test.
Jadi apabila Anda mengalami gejala-gejala yang seperti tadi kita simpulkan ya, kita bahas, Anda perlu mengunjungi urologi Anda dan melakukan tes apabila Anda mengalami gejala-gejala seperti yang sudah kita sebutkan sebelumnya. Please, Dr. Lee.
If the PSA is abnormal, go and do a biopsy, because once we detect it early, there are many, many ways that we can tackle the problem.
Jadi apabila PSA Anda abnormal, jadi Anda perlu melakukan biopsi sehingga kita dapat menanggulangi hal tersebut lebih dini. Please, Dr. Lim.
And finally, it's important if you have any of questions to go and speak to your doctor and find out a bit more about prostate cancer so you can begin the journey to take care of your prostate health.
Jadi setelah Anda memiliki banyak pertanyaan dan juga penjelasan mengenai kanker prostat, maka Anda dapat berlanjut ke prosedur penanggulangan atau penyembuhan kanker prostat tersebut. Please, Dr. Lee.
Okay, and with that, I end my presentation. Thank you very much for your translation and the audience's attention. I'm happy to take any questions.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Lim, for your presentation. Now we begin to the Q&A session. I will choose some interesting questions for you to answer. Saya akan memilih pertanyaan ya, pertanyaan terbaik yang akan dijawab oleh Dr. Lim. Okay, the first question. Okay. If we have been diagnosed with prostate cancer,
yes,
should we do chemotherapy or not? because it kills the living cells around the cancer, doctor?
That's a very, very good question. So as I mentioned just now, it really depends on whether you found the cancer early or not. If it's still within the prostate itself, usually surgery is the primary choice for treating the prostate cancer. Other than that, we use radiotherapy. Chemotherapy is not regularly used in prostate cancer. If anything else, we use more hormonal therapy. But if your cancer is discovered early, you just need to have surgery or radiotherapy. It's usually not necessary to do chemotherapy unless it's discovered too late.
Jadi, jika Anda mengalami kanker prostat yang dini, kita dapat melakukan operasi atau juga radioterapi atau juga hormon terapi. Tapi untuk kemo tidak terlalu diusulkan ya, atau tidak terlalu direkomendasikan, sehingga kita melakukan kemoterapi itu apabila kita sudah terlambat ya menangani kasus kanker prostat tersebut. Please, Dr. Lim. Okay, the next question. Okay, the next question. Is there any alternatives for chemotherapy? This is the question from Hendy Cahyadi ya, from Bandung.
Okay, so as I was mentioned, chemotherapy is usually not used unless it's very advanced disease or is very resistant to the initial line, what we call castrate-resistant prostate cancer. And if that's the case, then usually we can even consider radiotherapy. Radiotherapy is whereby a patient lies on top of a X-ray beam, a very, very strong X-ray beam, and we try to use radiation, ionizing radiation, to treat the cancer. So there are options like radiation and hormone therapy if you need to as well. So chemotherapy in a very, very select group of patients, you need to, otherwise generally not commonly used for routine prostate cancer treatment.
Oke, jadi untuk treatment kanker prostat ya, Anda perlu ada alternatif lain seperti radioterapi atau sinar X-ray, juga radiasi, sehingga tidak terlalu direkomendasikan untuk melakukan kemoterapi. And then next question, Dr. Lim.
Yes.
The question is from Hendy Cahyadi from Bandung. Every time I urinate in the toilet, there is a kind of foam and urine split.
Okay.
Is it
yes.
related to the enlarged prostate?
Thank you, Hendy, for your question. So yes, it basically many of my patients come to see me with this kind of problem. So foam itself is not necessarily of an indication of any problems with the prostate. Your splitting of the urine stream can be a sign that your prostate might be a bit bigger than usual and therefore is causing a lot of flow issues. And apart from that, you want to also make sure that you are not waking up too many times at night to go to the toilet. I've always said to my patients, as you go older, you may need to wake up once every night to go to the toilet, maybe twice, but anything more than 2 times, like 3 to 4 times, is definitely excessive. Something is going on with your prostate, is causing you problem. Go and see your doctor.
Jadi apabila Anda mengalami gangguan buang air kecil, ya itu berhubungan dengan pembesaran prostat. Jadi sehingga Anda perlu menangani atau lebih cepat, lebih baik ya untuk berkonsultasi dengan dokter. Please, Dr. Lim. And then the next question.
Next question.
Okay, from Handi ya, from Medan.
Yes.
The first question is, I often have abdominal pain when I urinate. Is that any early sign of prostate cancer?
That may not be specific to prostate cancer. Like I said to you, many patients actually don't feel anything when they have prostate cancer. And abdominal pain is certainly not a common presentation of prostate cancer. It's actually more important for you to actually have an ultrasound check to see whether you are fully empty your bladder well, or is it only just half empty? Therefore, you still have a lot of urine inside your tummy, and whether you are having an infection, because infection and a bloated bladder can cause pain in the abdomen more often than prostate cancer.
Oke, jadi untuk pertanyaan Pak Handi ya, yang mengalami sakit pada bagian perut pada saat buang air kecil, itu bukan berarti Anda mengalami kanker prostat ya, sehingga perlu melakukan pengecekan ulang seperti cek ultrasound, dan apabila kelenjar baik, maka kita akan melakukan pengecekan pada perut Anda, karena mungkin saja masalah bukan di prostat Anda, melainkan pada perut Anda. Oke, the next question, Dr. Lim. What if we have been diagnosed with prostate cancer? What should we do?
Well, as I said in my presentation, if you are unfortunate to have been diagnosed with prostate cancer, it is very important to understand whether it is a localized condition versus a spread condition. And to do that, we need to do staging scans that will scan the whole body to find out whether you have spread beyond the prostate cancer or is still within the prostate cancer before we can make a decision. Can you translate that first?
Oke, jadi ketika kita mengetahui bahwa kita memiliki atau mengalami kanker prostat, kita melakukan pengetesan ya, apakah kanker prostat tersebut terjadi pada satu tempat di kelenjar prostat Anda atau menyebar. Kita perlu mengetahui hal tersebut, baru kita dapat melakukan prosedur selanjutnya. Please continue,
Okay, so depending on your age and your health level, then we will decide on the next step. Are you healthy enough to have surgery, or is it something that will be too detrimental to your body? Then you're not suitable for surgery. Then we decide whether we can go for radiotherapy or we can go for hormone therapy. Or in many, many cases, if it's not bothering you, sometimes we choose not to do anything at all.
Oke, jadi apabila Anda mengalami kanker prostat, seperti kita semakin menua dan akan mengalami gangguan pada prostat, dan apabila kita mengetahui kadar PSA kita sesuai dengan info tersebut, kita dapat memilih apakah kita akan melakukan operasi ataupun radioterapi atau juga treatment hormon, atau bahkan kita tidak perlu melakukan apapun seperti itu. Oke. And then the next question, is it
Yes.
finished? Or okay. And then the next question is from Ica ya, dari Sabang. What is the prognosis for people with prostate cancer?
Yeah, thank you very much, Icha. It's a very, very good question. I took many pains to tell my patients that prostate cancer is actually one of the best cancer to have. Unlike lung cancer, unlike colorectal cancer, unlike breast cancer, these are very rapidly progressing cancer. Prostate cancer, on the other hand, is so slow growing that sometimes we urologists always say, you die with prostate cancer, you don't die from prostate cancer. Ria, please.
Oke, jadi tidak seperti kanker yang lainnya, seperti kanker paru atau juga kanker tenggorokan atau juga kanker payudara. Berbeda dengan kanker prostat ini. Kanker prostat ini memiliki proses pertumbuhan kanker yang sangat lambat, sehingga ada istilah dokter yang menyatakan Anda tidak meninggal karena kanker prostat, tetapi Anda meninggal dengan kanker prostat. Please, is it?
Yep. So okay, from then on, you don't have to make rash decision when it comes to treating prostate cancer. Many times we have a lot of ample time for you to think through the various treatments to decide what fits better for you, have a discussion with friends and family, and then come back to make a decision. We do not have to rush when it comes to prostate cancer.
Baik, jadi ketika Anda sudah mengetahui gangguan pada prostat Anda perlu berpikir atau bisa juga sharing kepada keluarga dan teman Anda setelah melakukan keputusan, Anda baru dapat kembali kepada dokter dan melakukan konsultasi untuk melakukan prosedur selanjutnya. Oke.
So just one more
Okay.
point about the last question. To answer specifically, even in metastatic prostate cancer, there are many new drugs that are coming onto the market right now that can prolong lifespan by up to 2 to 3 years. So even in the worst case scenario, unless it's very advanced, there are ways to extend lifespan by years and months.
Oke, jadi untuk melakukan prosedur penanganan kanker prostat tadi, can you please repeat it, dokter?
So there are so many new drugs that are coming that even in the metastatic prostate cancer conditions, there are many new tricks that we have to increase the lifespan for years and months.
Oke, jika selanjutnya kita dapat dokter dapat melakukan treatment atau prosedur ya yang bisa dilakukan dalam waktu kurun tahunan atau juga bulanan seperti itu. Ya, oke. The next question, dokter.
Sure.
From Vincent ya dari Kalimantan. How long does it take to heal after prostate cancer? Is there a chance that the prostate cancer will recur or come back?
Okay, thank you, Vincent. So that's a good question again. So I'm assuming that you say you go for robotic prostatectomy. And depending on usual cases, usually the recovery is around 3 to 4 days from the surgery itself. You will need to have a urine tube put in for about a week to 10 days. Thereafter, we remove the urine tube when you come to see us in the clinic again, and by then you should be able to pass urine properly. So it takes around 2 weeks in total for the whole procedure to finish recovering from the initial surgery, but the stay in hospital can be between 2 days to 4 days.
Jadi setelah melakukan prosedur tersebut itu bisa terjadi dalam waktu 3 sampai 4 hari ya. Sehingga setelah melakukan prosedur tersebut, Anda perlu kembali dalam waktu kurang lebih 2 minggu untuk memastikan apakah prosedurnya tetap aman seperti itu. Is there any chance that prostate cancer will come back, doctor, after we do the procedure?
Of course. So in cases whereby the cancer is too advanced and even after surgery, we leave some of the cancer behind. In these cases, you will need to have regular follow-up to ensure that the prostate cancer don't come back. And even if they do come back, you discover them early. And if they do come back, then we use radiotherapy to actually treat the recurrence. So there are many things that we can do even if the cancer recurs.
Oke, jadi kanker prostat tersebut dapat kembali ya, sehingga Anda perlu melakukan pengecekan ulang, pengecekan secara berkala. Jadi apabila kanker prostat tersebut kembali, kita akan melakukan prosedur-prosedur yang sudah kita sebutkan tadi. Oke, thank you for your time for this webinar, Doctor. That will be the last question for today.
Thank you very much.
Really appreciate it. Hope to see you at our next webinar, Dr. Lim. Baik,
most welcome. Thank you very much.
Okay. Baik, sekian webinar kita kali ini. Kami berharap webinar ini dapat menambah pengetahuan dan wawasan Anda. Jangan lupa follow sosial media Live and Well Shinon untuk selalu update webinar gratis dan info menarik lainnya mengenai kesehatan dan pengobatan suatu penyakit. Untuk informasi lebih lanjut, Anda dapat menghubungi Live and Well Shinon melalui WhatsApp di nomor WhatsApp 0817 2899911. Dan untuk selanjutnya Anda dapat memfollow sosial media baik Facebook atau Instagram. Cek sekarang ya Instagram Live and Well Care karena ada giveaway yang menarik dan akan memenangkan hadiah tunai OVO. Sampai jumpa di webinar selanjutnya. Thank you Dr. Lim for your time today.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Lim. Thank you, Pan Asia Surgery, for the health talk today. We hope that everyone here really enjoy the webinar. If there's any question, jika ada pertanyaan untuk Dr. J. Lim, boleh langsung menghubungi Live and Well Shinon. Jadi kami akan menghubungi langsung konsultasi Anda dengan Dr. J. Lim dari Pan Asia Surgery.
Okay.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, doctors. Thank you so much.